one of the biggest fights that we've encountered online this year, right? One of the biggest, I guess you could say, brouhahas involving comic books and movies and things like that, of course, is Captain Marvel. It's Brie Larson and that whole situation where so many people on YouTube found a way to make untold amounts of money by turning her into literally the worst person on the planet. It is wild. And if you've ever seen any of the controversy, you know what I'm talking about. And the truth of the matter is, she didn't deserve like 90% of it because she made one or two comments and that was it. And people just found a way to dive in and dig in. But it might have actually had a bit of impact if this rumor is to be believed. Now, again, I want to stress that this is a rumor. And this is coming from a site called Epic Stream, who got it from We Got This Covered, who took it from other places, like a YouTube video. We're going to talk about that. So again, totally, I'm sorry, not We Got This Covered, Cosmic Book News. Okay, but this story is making the rounds, which is why I'm talking about it. It's making the rounds, which is why I want to bring it up. Anyway, Disney might be losing might be losing confidence in Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, saying here that Brie Larson might be set to appear in more Marvel Cinematic Universe films, but it looks like Disney is no longer confident about the Academy Award winner's future projects. A new report claims that the House of Mouse is already reconsidering pushing forward with Captain Marvel's role in the MCU. Now, the surprising revelation of this comes from a YouTube channel, Overlord DVD, where they claim that Disney was actually planning to use Spider-Man to make Larson's Carol Danvers more likable. Unfortunately, with Spidey being taken back by Sony, the plans are falling apart. So I don't know how much of that you want to believe. I don't know much of that, how much of that you want to say. Like, Spider-Man teaming up with Captain Marvel makes no sense. She's a cosmic hero. He is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Nothing about that makes any sense. Continuing on, Spider-Man is to lead the Avengers would make sense, considering that that's kind of what they're aiming for anyway. If they want to call him Iron Boy Jr., whatever it is. All right. Like, that's fine. I get that. But again, they're heavily focusing things on the cosmic side. They showcased Sword, the successor to Shield, with what Nick Fury is up to and what him and the Skrulls are doing in space. So there's a lot going on in that. There's a lot going on in that world that's not necessarily going to need to be really kind of like, emerging of Spider-Man and Captain Marvel just don't make a lot of sense. If they're going to push her towards the cosmic side, you're going to keep Spider-Man grounded. So I don't get it. But anyway, the YouTube in question is Doomcock. And there's a lot of Doomcock fans out there. I'm not a huge fan of his work, to be honest with you. So it goes on to say that Disney, this is what he says, Disney is having Brie Larson fatigue, and they lost confidence in her and the direction they're moving to Captain Marvel. Marvel had plans for Captain Marvel, but those plans were utterly derailed by the loss of Spider-Man to Sony. Now, he goes on to state that Disney is stuck with a rigid, unlikable hero with no personality that they have no plans to continue with. Disney is losing confidence in Captain Marvel and may be slowly starting to realize that alienating your fan base isn't the best way to run a business. Now, but the question becomes is how do they alienate the fan base, right? Like, nothing about that makes a lot of sense, considering that if you bring up Rotten Tomatoes here, it's got a 78% on nearly 500 reviews, an audience score of 54%, which is definitely lower. And this was one of the ones that was then pushing the verified after the fact. A lot of these were done after the fact. So, again, take it for what you will. But even coming over here to just look at the Box Office Mojo, we can see that it has a total domestic gross of $426 million off of, and then it went on to gross $1.12 billion worldwide. And some people might argue, yeah, but Matt, but it wasn't here. Where's the sequel? If there's no sequel in the Phase 4 reveal, and even this isn't a full Phase 4 reveal, this is just a good photo that I grabbed from Comic-Con. Where's Brie Larson going to go? What's going to happen with Brie Larson? Where's there going to be Captain Marvel 2? They didn't have it in here. It's not mentioned in here and all. Well, yeah, because Phase 4 isn't really about that. Even though the movie itself went on to gross a lot of money, over $1 billion, they still are going to take their time with announcing the sequel, right? With announcing the next one. And there's actually some evidence to back that up. I draw your attention to the Box Office Mojo page for Black Panther. See here, look, February 16th, 2018 was a release date. Full year before Captain Marvel, right? February 16th, 2018. We can see it had a gross of $1.346 billion. So a couple 100,000 more than Captain Marvel. And then come over here to this article in Variety, and we see Black Panther sequel set for release in 2022. Well, that's a ways, isn't it? That's 2022 is a couple years off. Oh, and look, when was this posted? August 24th, 2018. and 19 at D23. The point I'm trying to get to here, guys, is that they are taking their time with announcing this movie. Does that mean that Brie Larson is out as Captain Marvel, that they're not going to use Brie Larson? I don't know. But I don't see them completely just sidelining a character that made them over $1 billion. Now, there's many things to argue with that, right? You can look at the slingshot effect, that the movie only did really good because Endgame was on the horizon and people needed their Marvel fix, and they're getting psyched up for Endgame. And in some respects, that's 100% accurate. Even when Endgame came out, it was number one. Number two that weekend was Captain Marvel, because people went and saw Endgame and then went back and saw Captain Marvel. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not that much of a glutton for punishment, but people did. Now, I found the movie to be relatively boring. I found the movie to be relatively just kind of low stakes, which is exactly what Phase 4 is, which is why Black Panther 2 is set for the kickoff of Phase 5. And then from there, we're going to see probably Captain Marvel 2, and they're going to introduce Miss Marvel as probably the co-star of that particular film, because we know that that was mentioned at D23 last month. So we know that they're going to be bringing in Miss Marvel. They're currently casting for it right now. And with everything going on in regards to trying to set up a sequel for Captain Marvel 2 and realizing that probably having it be a team up movie or a crossover film is going to be a lot better, is probably what they're waiting for. Now, what I hope is that they get a better director, that they get better writers, and that they give Brie Larson something that's actually going to challenge her as an actress, that's going to challenge her in the role of the character. But I don't know how that's going to happen, considering the fact that taking on Thanos took a literal punch to the head from an Infinity Stone, from the Power Stone, to knock her out of commission during that final battle. Who knows what's going to happen with this? I don't know. But do I think that Disney's done, or Marvel's done with Captain Marvel? No, not at all. Not at all. They're gonna keep her around. They're gonna keep her, maybe not as the face, right? I don't know. I think they, with the X-Men, Fantastic Four coming down the pipeline, they're gonna want to focus on that as leading the pack. But they're still not going to walk away from $1 billion franchise. They're just going to take their time before announcing it, just like they did with Black Panther. But anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Be sure to like the video if you liked it. Be sure to dislike it if you didn't like it. Tell me why, though, one way or the other. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out.